TV, as is Applebee's, Fridays, and Chili's. So we got to be more nimble, we got to be smarter, we got to be more efficient. So we did a number of things this year. We front-loaded our media plan, target rating points to drive awareness and frequency up higher in the promotional period so that people got to come in a couple times and take advantage of the discount. We linked the availability of our promotional price specifically with the run on TV. Previous years, you could get the discount 2 or 3 weeks before TV started and 4 to 6 weeks after TV ended. We said, no, no, no. If you go to Macy's Saturday sale on Sunday, you don't get the deal, right? You got to go on Saturday. So we said if you want the discounted promotion, you come in when we're on TV. And we rolled out Red Royalty to the whole country in January so that when people came in to take advantage of a discounted product or a hot promotion, we could sign them up for our loyalty program. That's R for Red. E is expense management. In the last 6 years, Red Robin lost 550 basis points or 5.5% in the middle of its P&L in profitability. Many restaurant companies face the same challenges, yet they spent their time getting leaner, more efficient, and smarter and rebuilding their margins despite their losses in top-line sales. Red Robin didn't. That's the problem. At the same time, that was the opportunity, and we committed to improve our margins. We reduced administrative and restaurant-level expenses. We're reducing supply chain costs, and we're improving day-to-day business efficiencies. And each of these areas represented huge opportunities for strengthening the fundamentals of our business. I charged our operations and supply chain teams to find 200 basis points or 2 percentage points of expense savings in the middle of our P&L without compromising team members or guest experience. That represents $16 to $18 million of incremental profit over 11 and 12 once we fully implement these savings. And in fairly short order, after we put together a cross-functional team, including every level of the organization, we were able to identify 150 distinct areas of cost reduction. The examples were big and small, simple and complex. They included everything from reducing the number of distribution centers we use from 36 to 13, where we save $3 million a year once it's fully impacted, to saving $150,000 by eliminating unused phone lines in a restaurant. We had one restaurant with 17 phone lines. And once we established they weren't a call center, we cut them back to 3. And we did that to every restaurant and saved $150,000. Like our revenue-driving initiatives, we knew there were many opportunities across the P&L, and over time, they'd add up to big improvements in our business. And then the D for Red, deployment of capital. Big issue for investors, and if you followed Red Robin, we had a lot of activist investors agitating for change. And one of their big points was you're not getting the return on invested capital you should. So we took a look at new restaurant development, adding revenue growth by pursuing attractive opportunities for new units at an attractive investment cost. So over the last few years, the average unit volumes for each successive class of new restaurants built has grown. And the profit margins of those new stores has improved to the point where our most recent new opening class, the class of 11, has higher average unit volumes and higher margins than the comp class of existing restaurants. So we're achieving very attractive cash-on-cash returns on new stores, and we're going to open at least 10 stores this year and accelerate development next year. About 30% of Red Robin's restaurants are franchised, yet Red Robin hadn't sold a franchise since 2004. So a simple concept we said is let's get our franchise partners re-engaged in our business and building new restaurants. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're also putting programs together to bring new franchisees into the system. And that'll help us too. We've given our existing franchisees incentives and discounts on their franchise fees going forward to build more restaurants faster. And last but not least, in addition to using capital to meet our debt obligations, we've been buying back our stock. Why? Because we think the stock's cheap, we think it's going to go higher, and we think it's a good investment, and it sends a great message of confidence to Wall Street. Now that's a quick overview of the strategic plan here at Red Robin, the one we began developing and executing over the last several months to turn around our business, to strengthen our foundations and improve our results and maximize returns in 2011 and beyond. So a natural question is, how are we doing so far? And on May 19th, we shared Red Robin's first quarter 2011 results with our shareholders, and I was proud to report that we made significant strides in all areas of revenue improvement, expense management, and capital deployment. Together, these improvements positively impacted our top-line sales, our profit margins, and helped us improve shareholder value. Our restaurant revenues, same-store sales, operating profit, and profit margin all increased significantly, as did our cash from operations. Our earnings per share were up dramatically, even taking into account an extraordinary benefit we received from labor productivity last year. Now, we've been very encouraged by these early results of our new revenue-driving efforts, like Red Royalty and Taking Back the Bar, and we believe we're indeed achieving much greater efficiency in our marketing spend, including our execution of our short-term promotions. Altogether, these efforts have helped us achieve a nearly 2% gain in same-store sales after 20 straight quarters of decline, something Red Robin hasn't seen for a long, long time. In the area of expense management, this never-ending process of identifying, evaluating, and implementing cost savings is not only beginning to yield savings, it's also reinforcing a culture of accountability, innovation, and results. The toughest thing about harvesting expense savings is actually getting the money in the bank. You can do it conceptually, you can set the targets up, and at the end of the year, you can't find the cash. So one thing we did do to make sure we could harvest the expense savings is we went to a quarterly budgeting process with all our restaurants. So they didn't get a supply budget for 12 months. Every quarter, as we identified things we could do to improve their expense management in supplies, as an example, we'd take their budgets down 20 basis points for the next quarter and hold them to that target. That way, the money actually got to the bank. I gave you some examples of ideas in the 150 different things we're looking at in expense management. Since we've started this process, we've expanded that list to over 200 areas, and again, they range from the simple to the complex, from the big to the small. We've got $900,000 in savings from reducing food waste. Let me give you a simple example. In the morning prep, we'd want to temp the quality of our broilers and make sure our food was food safe. So as part of our line check process, we'd run proteins, we'd run burgers, chicken breasts, turkey burgers, through the charbroiler, and we'd temp them and throw them away. Well, that works great for food safety, not so great for food cost management. So all we're doing now is when the store opens and the first guest comes in and orders a burger, we temp that burger, and if it's appropriate, we serve it. It's $900,000. $900,000 by changing that one simple process. We got $350,000 in savings from a more environmentally friendly kids cup. That's what we call a win-win, right? Save money, more environmentally friendly. Awesome. And we saved $50,000 by going to a brown paper towel from a white bleach towel. But when you're doing 200 of those kinds of things, it adds up fast. While we know that complexity of harvesting these cost savings and improving day-to-day productivity increases over time is going to get harder and harder as we pick the low-hanging fruit first, we're really proud of the achievements we've made so far. Not only will we have captured millions of dollars in savings, more importantly, we're embedding a process of continuous improvement into the culture. We're never going to stop doing this. It's part of the innovation piece of AIR. And finally, in the area of capital deployment, our 2010 class of new restaurants continues to generate very strong sales and margins for us, and cash-on-cash returns equaling nearly 40%. This week we'll open our 8th of 10 new restaurants for 2011, and we're planning to do that. We've already had 2 restaurants break records for their opening weeks, achieving over $150,000 in sales in the first 7 days. And we've also kicked off a multi-million-dollar investment to overhaul our IT and infrastructure backbone both in the restaurants and in corporate. This investment supports our foundation for growth and performance improvement, as well as helping us realize even greater cost savings and achieve a very healthy return on investment. And most importantly, it gets our general managers and assistant managers out of their offices doing admin and into the restaurant, taking care of guests and team members. Now, I'd love to share more details about our progress, but we're just ending our second quarter, and our call for investors is on August 11th, which is about 2 weeks from today. So all I can say is, number one, if you're interested, log into our webcast and get our second quarter results. Or if you have a financial app on your iPhone, Android, or iPad,